Hello everyone and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. This is Colin and today we are going to do a preview playthrough of Honor's End. This is a deck builder. It is set for 1 to 4 players. I'm going to be playing as 2 because Mike on One Stop did a solo playthrough already, and I do feel like they have some tweaking they need to do to make that mode really good. 2-player to 4-player is really where this game sings. I've done 2 practice plays at 3 and it was glorious. It's absolutely glorious, but that's too much for me to handle on my own, so I'm going to do 2 players for this game. If you'd like to see a great 2-player version of the adventure mode for this game, check out Steve and Kim at Co-op Guild. I'll put a link in the description below. They do a 2-player co-op doing the adventure one-off mode. That means they just choose random bosses and they move forward. What we're going to do here is Chapter 1. Mike did the prologue, so I thought I'd do Chapter 1 to show you some more different enemy types. This does mean there might be a little bit of spoileriness, but I do think a lot of this is still in development. In this box, they only gave us 3 of the 9 chapters. There is a 9-chapter campaign you can play through in this game when it's finalized, so I do think there's a lot that is going to change between now and when the game finally delivers. But I think it'd be really fun to show you how a specific chapter will work. Last item to call out before we jump in, don't forget this is a prototype, so rules can change, things can change, cards can be different, so just watch this not for rules, but for if you're interested in the type of game this is and if you'd like to pick it up. I'll put the Kickstarter link in the description below as well. And a quick spoiler alert, I will be backing this game myself as well. That's how much I'm enjoying this. Alright, let's go ahead and set up quick and start our playthrough. Here we have our campaign book for the different chapters. We will move ourselves right on to Chapter 1. Because we aren't recording the prologue, I thought it'd be nice to give you the story recap in case you'd like to see what the story is like while you're playing. The knights answered Friar Wheatley's summons, rescuing young Leslie once again from danger and uncovering a rabid bear twisted by a violent corruption. The dagger in its hide led them to Bishop Harrow, a fallen priest dabbling in forbidden rites. In the caverns of Clover's Grotto, they struck him down, though not before his dying words warned of the Zoti, a greater threat yet to come. Now, with a sealed decree from the Duke in hand and Leslie unexpectedly swept into their company, the stage is set for their grand adventure. Let's now walk through our Chapter 1 setup. So we have to grab the honor board that matches our player count. We're playing at 2 players. Set the honor track to 8 and set all other tracks to their starting positions. Here we have the honor board that relates to our player count. You can see the player count right here. Our honor starts at 8. If ever that gets to 0, we lose. Or if our threat is at the highest mark and it needs to move up and we can't, we lose. You'll also see we have a temple and a monarchy track. Both of those we start with tokens down at the bottom. We have a tracker here for our enemy that each round will move up. And then up here it tells us the health of the 3 bosses we're going to have to fight. So in this game, you're generally going up against 3 different bosses. And if you can defeat that 3rd boss without losing your last honor or having the threat go too high, you win the game. As this game is a prototype, they already are adjusting some of the health values specifically to the 2-player version. They do say right now they feel like the 2-player version is the hardest, and they're trying to remedy that. And one of the ways they're doing that is reducing some of the health of the level 2 and level 3 bosses. So instead of being 35 and 60, it looks like it's 30 and 50. So those are what we're going to use for now, but know that in production it's probably going to be different. Next, depending upon our player count, we need to grab these 3 different types of items. Danger dice, we need 12 in total. Wounds, we need 12 in total. And inspiration dice, 10 in total. That's a little bit deceiving. It's really 5 per player. I already have those set up for our player boards. We also need to form a supply of all the gray danger dice, shuffle the deck of hero cards, advanced action cards, consumables, equipment cards, and wound cards, and place them in the designated spots on the board. And then we need to shuffle the trait deck and set it off to the side. Here we have our danger dice. Every round we're going to have to grab a certain amount of these and roll them, and depending upon what sides we see, we're going to have to deal with them during the resolution phase if we don't shield them. These dice are finite, so if ever we've used all of these black dice and we need more and we can't, we gain wounds for the difference. And if ever we should gain a wound, because that's also finite and we can't, then we lose honor. See how that all kind of goes together? We also have all these gray dice. These ones are very important because they are one-time uses. these will stick around until you shield one of the blank sides of this die. So if ever you roll this die that looks like this yellow symbol, that die won't deal you any damage, and you can just leave it alone. But if you shield that die, you actually will remove it from the pool, and it will help you in future rounds. Gray dice, doesn't matter if you shield this or if you take an honor damage. After it goes back to the supply, so these are one-time use for the enemy. We now need to set up our board here that houses all the different cards. We have our wound stack here. Now I have exactly 12 wounds. There's more wounds that come in the game. We only are going to have 12 though in this stack. We have our heroes here, and we have our advanced action cards. I've just shuffled those up. We have our equipment cards. Those you can use every round, versus our potions. Those are one-time use cards. Each of these we've shuffled up. For each of my players, I have placed 5 of these inspiration dice off to the side. They have not earned these yet, but this is the max they can earn in a round and use. So I have 5 dice for each of them, 5 here and 5 where my other player is. Inspiration dice are super important in this game. They really help you with triggering extra abilities on your cards, potentially drawing more cards. Yeah, so those are awesome dice. Now what we need to do is grab our starting danger dice. So I have that pool of 12. I'm going to start because I'm playing a 2-player game with 2 active dice. And these, every round, we're going to have to spread out between the amount of players. I have 2 players, so between our 2, and roll them and deal with them. If we can get them to be misses and then shield them, they'll go back into the generic pool. If we can't do that, then these are going to stay while we'll continue to add more dice and have to deal with all of those. We now have our player set up, so we have to grab a player board and a player dial. After that, we grab our starting deck of 9 action cards. I'm using A1 through A9 and B1 through B9. They're exactly identical. Then we have to choose one of these starting equipment, either E1, 2, 3, or 4, and then choose one of these heroes, Lady Aldwin, Apprentice Leslie, or Sir Rowan. If playing with a 4th player, you can choose whatever hero you want. Actually, they say randomly choose a hero from the supply. If you're playing the one-off mode, that's what you do in general. You just grab a random hero, you grab a random advanced action card, a random wound, and you're good to go. Speaking of which, we need to draw 1 random action card and a wound card and add it to our deck. So our deck of wounds now is only going to be 10 cards instead of 12 because 2 of them will be in our decks. Then we have to draw 1 random consumable, shuffle our deck, and draw our starting hand of 5 cards. Give the player with Lady Aldwin, so it looks like 1 player needs to play as Lady Aldwin, and then the other one I can choose any of these other heroes. And I've already taken out all the cards for the chapter 1, set them aside, and we'll see them when we need to. Here we have our 3 heroes we can choose from. Now, one of us has to choose Lady Aldwin. So I'm going to grab this one. It inherently gives you 2 shields when you play it, and you could potentially boost it by gaining additional actions. But you have to use a specific type of card to boost that. So my other player, I have to choose between these 2. This one will help us move up the monarchy track, but this one can help us deal damage when we roll our inspiration dice if we roll the double inspiration symbol. That's 1 out of the 6 sides. And then we could potentially get re-rolls here if we use one of the owl cards. This one, conversely, we can deal damage. So I'm actually thinking I might do Sir Rowan. So our 2 heroes are going to be Lady Aldwin and Sir Rowan. I'm going to shuffle the Apprentice Leslie back into the hero stack. Here we have our 4 pieces of equipment. We each can choose one. I know for sure the Exalted Tome, this is just so good. That inspiration is important, so I'm going to give that to Lady Aldwin, without a doubt. This Vicious Halberd allows us, whenever we roll this on one of the enemy dice, we actually could deal 2 damage. And Rowan's kind of our damage dealer. Or we could spend an inspiration die to deal to gain a shield. You're going to see shields are really important. But damage is also important. So I think I'm going to do the Halberd for Rowan. We'll then each gain 1 random consumable. Aldwin will gain the power card. This gives her 2 additional actions. It's a one-time use. And we have the Vial of Guard. That's 2 shields for Rowan. I'll take that. Each of our heroes now will gain a wound and 1 random advanced action card. So for Lady Aldwin, she will gain the Hand Crush. This is a wound. All it does is clog up your deck. You can get rid of it if you boost it with a specific type of card. You'll see how that works as we play. So she'll be placing that into her deck. And she will have the honorable, Honorable Persistence. Ooh, 3 damage, and can potentially give 2 shields to Rowan. That's cool. Rowan will grab the Skullcrack. That sounds great. And he will have the Elevated Insight, which gives a card draw. And then you have to discard a card and then one Monarchy. Well, he's going to be all about Monarchy tracks. After we've chosen our 3 cards, we're also going to grab our basic set of 9 cards and combine them to make our deck of 12. We're going to shuffle each of those up individually and draw 5 cards each. Going forward, this left-handed player will always call Lady Aldwin, and I'll put a little note down here as you're watching so you know which is which, because it will be sometimes hard to tell since your card for your specific hero is in your deck, so you won't always have that available to you. It just is if it's in your hand. We will have these out as well. These are, of course, the one-time use, and these are once per turn. Let's shuffle these up and draw 5 each. We've drawn our 5 cards. We'll look at more of these cards in detail as we play our first turn. We also each have a tracker. So during our turns, we're going to be tracking up our damage, how much we can move up the Temple and the Monarchy. And at the end of our activations, we'll add that all together, deal the damage to the boss, as well as move up on the Monarchy and Temple track accordingly. We also have a nice player board here where we'll hold our cards for our deck here. Our discard will go here. If we earn inspiration dice, we'll place them here. When we roll danger dice, they'll go here, and if we shield them, we can move them over to this spot. So you'll be using this board as well as your tracker here to track all the different things that you're doing throughout your turn. Last thing we need to do is give Lady Aldwin the first player totem. You'll see why that's important as we play. Let's continue reading. The small company of knights amble through the countryside. Trees dot the lush, hilly landscape. Small farms and mills greet them around each bend of the well-trodden dirt road. Apprentice Leslie, a young scholarly knight in training, brings up the rear of the party. Ink stains cover his hands and arms from hours spent copying documents. He excitedly examines the Duke's decree as he rides. You think there's some insight you're going to glean from that parchment that you haven't found the first 20 times? Do you really think the Zoti have rediscovered the magic of old? No, I do not. Honor has no place among them. Why would magic? Rowan pauses, touching the simple pendant bearing his family crest. Then what would explain these evil spirits? I heard Friar Wheatley say that long ago the Zoti could transform themselves into giants. Wheatley spends so much time dwelling on legends of old that he believes he is one. The Zoti are nothing more than a vicious, brutal people, hell-bent on taking what's ours. No, please, quiet. My horse tires of all this talking. As the group rounds a corner, they hear an all too familiar sound, the clanging of swords and blood-curdling cries of battle. Is it them? Is it the Zoti? Just tell me where you want me. Preferably somewhere where you won't die in the first 10 seconds, shouting to the knights behind her. Swords! Lady Aldwin spurs her horse into a gallop. The company closes behind. Bloodied steeds flee past them. A carriage lies overturned in the road. Ahead, a brutish figure wrenches his blade from a fallen knight as the attackers close in on the last survivor. The company of knights ride into battle. Okay, now we have this symbol. We go up here, and we can see it says Draw and Resolve Enemy Encounter 1.1. We have found a roadside ambush. Oh no. So we can see here with this symbol here, it shows us that the health for this specific enemy, or this is a small group of enemies, think of it that way, 20 total health. I've marked that here. Over on this side, we can see which of the symbols are going to activate during a specific round. So we're going to start at the lowest spot, and we're going to trigger this red section. Then next round, we'll move this up. We will have to move up on the threat. That's what these skull symbols are. That matches our threat symbol here. So we'd move up threat every time we see a plus threat on this enemy track. And then we would trigger this one, which is you cannot shield any of the misses. Oh, that's terrible. So I got to remember that for round 2. We're going to keep doing rounds against this boss until we defeat them or our honor goes to 0. Now, one thing to note, for all 3 of the bosses, our threat track is never going to reset. However, every time we start with a new boss, we will reset this track. But when you reset this track, you can see that plus skull, you immediately increase the threat by 1. Kind of cool. I like how they do this. I do want to mention, for the first round against the first enemy, you do not raise the threat. So we'll leave the threat here. As you can see, when we move up the threat 1 space, we're going to add another die. And it's red here, but it should be black. They're going to fix that, but that should be the black dice. So those are permanent unless we can shield those misses. Whenever it's gray here, that +3 and +4, that's going to be the gray one-time use dice. So right now we have 2 active black dice. Let's now walk through the phases quick and we can start our playthrough. We start each phase with advancing the enemy track, except for that first round we're going to leave it where it is and then trigger whatever symbols are there. Then we have to distribute any of the danger dice and then roll them individually. We'll then set them in our danger area. After that, we have a planning phase. I'll show you what that means. That is before you actually move to the action phase where all players will play cards simultaneously. And this is really interesting. I love how they did this. This section, you're all going to want to talk together. Then during the action phase, it's going to be more heads down, so it'll be easier for me to record that section. However, when you get a boss close to being at no health, you might want to talk with people so you don't over deal damage, right? But I do love that during the action phase, the puzzly section, it's all simultaneous, and all of the cooperation happens during the planning phase. It's really actually very, very good. Then you resolve your danger dice, as well as you can spend your damage to deal damage to the boss, and then you'll use your temple and monarchy to potentially gain upgrades. After that, you discard any cards you'd like, plus any that you've placed out on the table, draw 5 cards, and pass the leader token. This means during the enemy phase, we need to trigger this red ability. Now it says +1 for 1 to 2 players and +2 for 3 or 4 players. That's adding 1 or 2 of these black dice into the pool. So now I have 3 black dice into the pool. Next, I need to distribute these dice. Now, I know Lady Aldwin is here, and she gives 2 shields. So we're really good at shielding over here, and we potentially actually have a 3rd shield we could put out. So I'm actually going to give all 3 of these dice to Lady Aldwin. She's going to pick them up and roll them. The different sides on the dice are as follows. This symbol means that you would gain a wound. Wounds always go to your discard pile, and those can be blocked. This symbol means you lose 2 honor. Remember, we only have 8. So that's really bad, but that can be blocked by 1 shield. You block the whole die face with 1 shield. That is losing 1 honor, and then of course this is a miss, but you still want to block it if you can. It'd be great if I didn't drop the dice. Let's roll all 3. Well, we've got 1 miss, 1 honor hit, and 1 wound, so 1 of each. On Lady Aldwin's board, I'll place all 3 of these danger dice here. Once we've completed the assign and roll phase, we move to the planning phase. Here is where the first player, which is going to be Lady Aldwin, she is going to choose one of her equipment that becomes shared. That means every player can use it, and we can use ally bonuses. At the beginning of the game, this is quite easy. We only have 1 piece of equipment. So we're going to place our marker on this equipment, stating that everybody, so even if you're playing a 4-player game, every player would have access to this equipment, plus whatever equipment they already have, which is really cool, really a fun way that you can cooperate and work together. So each of us will be able to gain 1 inspiration die during our regular action phase. The other choice we have are the ally bonuses. You can see these cards at this bottom section. It is purple. Whenever you see that purple color, you know it's for your allies. We can discard this card and give the benefit to another ally. If there's 1 sword, it's 1 other ally, and if there's multiple swords, it's all the other allies. But of course, in a 2-player game, that's just the other ally because there's only 2 players. This is why when you have multiple players, these are really nice because I'd lose this card, but then 2 players would gain an inspiration. Right now, I don't think I'm going to do, well, I can do this. No, I don't think it's worth it. I'm going to keep all of the cards in our hand for now. These, if you do use an ally bonus, it does get discarded. It doesn't get played out onto the table, so you can't use any other effects. You just discard it for the benefits on the bottom. This one would mean that the other players could draw 1 card. Now that we've completed the planning phase, we'll move into the action phase. This is where we'll play cards simultaneously, but I am going to start with Lady Aldwin, just because I can only do 1 at a time. During that action phase, we will immediately gain that 1 inspiration. That's because of our equipment. And we can at any time use that inspiration die, but we can also hold on to it from round to round. The max amount of dice that we can have out in total, though, is 5 between what's on our board and what we've already used. You'll see how these dice work as we play. Just know there's different symbols on them. Some are shields, some give us those wilds, and another one gives us a bonus card draw and an extra action. Now I think it's a good time to look at these cards and understand the different symbols on them. That is the main part of this game. It is a symbol-heavy game. None of these cards that I've seen so far have any text. It's all symbols, which works quite well, actually, especially well with my kids. Each card has a certain alignment. You're going to see them up here, and some have no alignment. Your heroes will never have an alignment. There are 3 different types, and I just so happen to have 3 of them here. This is Fortitude, this is Valor, and this is Wisdom. That alignment can matter because certain cards can be boosted by certain alignments. For example, this card, if I played it, I could gain 1 on the Monarchy track, but I can boost it with another card of that specific type, the Fortitude. You can see it here. So I'm boosting it now. I now get the extra action symbol because I've done that. Most cards can only be boosted 1 time, with the exception of heroes. You see that infinite symbol? We could boost that multiple times with Fortitude cards to gain that extra action ability, which is actually really nice. Why that's important? In this game, you only have 1 action each round, so you only normally can play 1 card. So if I played this Exalted card, which would deal 2 damage, that's all I would do. I would keep the other 4 cards in my hand and call it a day. But that's not what we're going to do. Some cards have this symbol here, which gives you a free additional action. So if I started my action with this Triumphant Stance, I can then chain it into this Prayer. And then from there, I can maybe chain it into this Honorable Resistance because they all have the symbols. And then I could even put out Lady Aldwin as our last one. This actually seems kind of cool. Now, what would be absolutely perfect is if one of these could be boosted by Valor and I could slide it under here and gain an extra shield, let's say. Unfortunately, though, that alignment does not match. However, I could, if I wanted, I could roll this inspiration die. Now, once you roll a die, you have to use it. You might be able to gain rerolls to reroll it, or the danger dice. But once you've rolled it into play, you have to use it. So I could use this as a shield to maybe block one of those danger dice. I could use it as a wild. It can be used as any type. Can't do it on the allied dice or the allied bonus, but I could do it here for an extra action or here for a shield. So what we have to decide now is which cards do we want to play this round. We can keep any cards we don't play in our hand, or we can simply discard them at the end of the round. I think because of that, I am going to start with our Honorable Persistence here, and we're going to deal 3 damage to these brigands. So I'll track that on my tracker here for 3 damage. Now, since I have this arrow, I can continue to play cards. I think we most certainly will chain that into the Triumphant Stance. That will give us 1 Monarchy. So I'll track that on here. If we wanted to boost that with another one of the Fortitude cards, which I don't have, we could get an extra action so we could finish this line of cards and then start another line. I unfortunately don't have any more Fortitude cards, so I think I'm going to pass. Instead, I'm going to put down the Guiding Prayer as well, which will push up 1 on the Temple track. And you're probably going, Colin, what do the Temple and the Monarchy track do? Well, you're going to see in just a little bit, so I'll show you. We still can continue going, and I do think we will end. You can see she does not have another action. I could potentially slot a card underneath to boost for her additional action ability, but I can't do that. We're going to put her down for 2 shield. With those 2 shields, I'm most certainly going to shield the one that's not even hurting us because we can remove that die then from the danger pool, and then I'll do the one that is going to deal damage to our honor. I'll deal with the wound one, I think. We do still have 1 more card in our hand, this Exalted Bash, but I cannot play it unless I find a way to generate another action. I don't have another way to do that, so I'll just hold on to this in my hand. Moving over to Sir Rowan, he will generate 1 inspiration die. And then starting with his hero sounds like a great idea. He's going to generate 2 Monarchy. So we'll have 3 Monarchy in total so far to be able to spend at the end of the round. We can continue with actions, not to mention if we slot 2 Valor cards underneath here, we can deal 3 damage. Oh, that's kind of actually, you know what? I might actually do that. I've got 2 here. I'm going to slide both of those underneath. And so now since we have 2 there, we are going to deal 3 more damage. That means we're going to be dealing 6 damage this round. That's great. Probably means next round we're not going to deal much of any damage. Our next card then, we will slide in our stance, which will increase our monarchy track by 1 more. So we're generating 3 monarchy and 3 damage. We could play 1 more card, but I actually have no use for this shield. I cannot shield for one of my friend's dice. She's just going to have to deal with that wound die since I gave her all 3. Probably shouldn't have. So I'll just hold on to this card because likely we'll get some danger dice for our next turn. Now that we've completed our first action phase, we'll move to that resolution phase. We need to resolve all danger dice. Well, this one is going to cause Lady Aldwin to gain another wound. So we'll draw the top card of the wound stack, and this will go to her discard pile. Ouch. And this will go back into the dice pool. This one was blocked, so that will just go into the dice pool. But since this was blocked and it was a miss, it'll go back into the general supply out of our pool of dice, which is great. We then can apply the damage that we dealt, which was a total of 6. This roadside ambush has been knocked down to 14 total health. After dealing our damage, we can spend our temple and monarchy. Our total temple is 1 and our monarchy is 4. On each of the temple and monarchy tracks, you are going to spend what you gained during that round and try and move up as far as you can go. You can only go forward and up. You can't move backwards. I've never gotten to the end of these tracks, not even close, because you need to have certain values in order to move forward. For example, if we wanted to move up on the monarchy track to this spot, we'd need to have 2 total temple. I actually only have 1, so I can't go that way. But I can move up to here, and that's what I'm going to do. That cost us 1 temple. If we have any excess temple or monarchy, we can't save it for the next round. It's gone forever. So it's kind of like your currency for the game. This is going to allow each of us to gain 1 more inspiration die. So we'll each have 2 dice for the next round. With our 4 monarchy, though, we have a little bit more fun. We can move up 1 here and gain a consumable, and then we can move up 2 here, and that gives us another advanced action card. 1, 2, 3, and then we actually have 4, so we can move up 1 more here and gain 1 honor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're right here. Let's do all of that. So whenever you gain cards, you're always going to draw 1 more than the amount of players, except for in solo. They now say you always draw 3. So we're going to draw 3 because we're playing 2-player. We'll each pick 1, and then we'll put the other one at the bottom of the deck. But just so we don't forget, we're going to increase our honor to 9 because I did gain 1 honor on the monarchy track. Here we have our 3 consumables. This one lets us destroy a card in our hand, aka a wound. Wouldn't that be great? So I'm definitely going to have Lady Aldwin take this one. And then I do think Rowan is going to take the Oath of Insight, though, gives us symbols. So these can be used to boost your cards instead of having to use the card itself. But we don't have any rerolls. So we're going to choose this one, putting that one at the bottom of the deck. Here we have our 3 advanced action cards, and oh man, they look awesome. Look at this Fearless Charge, 2 damage. If you boost it, it's a 5, but this Swift Advance gives you 2 insight, which is amazing in and of itself, but it also has 2 symbols up here for the 2 Valor, which works really well with Rowan, but it has no boost. So, and then this one, the Heroic Might, looks great because it gives you 2 of the Fortitude. It moves you up twice on the monarchy track and a shield, but this does not have the arrow that gives you a continued action. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I'm thinking I'm going to put this one at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to choose these 2. I think I'm going to go this one for Rowan and this one for Lady Aldwin. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I should mention whenever you gain these cards, they go to your discard pile. We've completed the resolution phase. We now move to the cleanup phase. We'll discard all the cards that are on the table, and then we can discard any cards in our hand, but I think we're... Actually, you know what? I might discard this card for Lady Aldwin, although it deals damage. But I think I'm going to discard it anyways. I think I'm going to get better cards in my hand, so I'm going to discard that one. She'll draw 5 new ones. Rowan will keep this 1 card in hand. We've each drawn up till we have 5 cards in our hand. Neither of us have shuffled. We'll now move this first player token, or active main player, I don't know what you want to call it exactly, over to Sir Rowan. We'll start round 2 with advancing the enemy track. When we do that, that means we have to advance the threat track, which causes 1 more danger die to be added. So we have 3 danger dice right now. Ugh. We have the effect of we cannot shield any of the miss symbols. Interesting. Okay, now we have to choose who is going to have which dice. That's where I gotta look at my cards really quick. I think I'm going to do 2 to Lady... No, I'm going to do 2 to Rowan and 1 to Lady Aldwin. We'll start off with Rowan, and we have 1 miss and 1 hit of our honor. And then for Lady Aldwin, she will have a wound. She doesn't want another wound. Because Rowan has this first player token, his awesome ability is active. Any of the rolled misses are 2 damage. Well, guess what? We have 1 rolled miss for him. So I'm going to track that right now. He's dealing 2 damage this round. Unfortunately for Lady Aldwin, she did not. But that's okay. Now we have to decide if we want to use any allied abilities. Rowan has this elevated insight. Now he can use this card to draw 1 card, discard a card, and gain 1 monarchy. Or he can discard it now and allow Lady Aldwin to draw 2 cards. That's what he'd like to do. So Lady Aldwin will draw the 2 final cards of her deck. She has Steady Analysis and Noble Assault in her hand. Well, she's going to have an awesome hand. Then, thanks to that awesome assist, Lady Aldwin is going to play the Noble Assault. This allows all other players to draw 1 card. Well, there's only 1, but then Rowan can draw 1 card. Let's see what he gets. He gets the Steady Analysis. Nice. That just helps each other out a little bit. We've now completed that planning phase. Let's move to the action phase, and I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play. This is for Rowan. We'll start with him since he's the first player this time. Remember, this is all simultaneous. Normally, I'm just having to do that because of recording. We are going to do a Steady Analysis. This allows us to draw 2 cards. Now you can see this ends our only action normally, but we do have a boost ability if we use a Wisdom card where we can gain another action. And yeah, I was thinking we were going to get our first wound. So this is a Skullcrack wound. You can see it doesn't do anything. It's just going to clog your deck. It also lets you chain it for additional cards, and you can get rid of it if you put a certain card underneath it to boost it. So we could boost this by removing it, but I would need another Wisdom card. We have our Honorable Deed in our hand. Oh, I like that card. That's a good one. All right, now we have to decide which of our Wisdom cards we want to use to boost. And I think we're going to use this one. We're going to place it underneath here, and that gives us an extra action. So now we can play another card. Before I decide to play my next card, I do think I'm going to roll an inspiration die. Oh, I got 1 inspiration. Do I want to... No, I'm going to save those rerolls. I might roll... Oh, is it worth it? It is worth it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to roll another inspiration die as well in... Oh, there's the double. This is going to be great. I love this. First thing we can do, Honorable Deed right here. That will move us up 1 on our monarchy track. So we're dealing 2 damage, and we have 1 up on the monarchy track. We're then going to boost that so we can deal, 4 damage. So that means we're dealing 6 damage now and 1 up on the monarchy track. We can continue our actions. We are most certainly going to get rid of this wound. We're going to place this wound here, and I'm going to use this bonus die, this inspiration, and that is going to get rid of this card at the end of the round. After playing out our wound, let's use our Rousing Invocation. So this will give us 1 on the temple, so we're up on 1 on that, and we'll gain another inspiration die. We don't have to roll that now. That's one of the only things you don't have to use or lose in that round, so I can hold on to that, and I think I'm going to. The last card then I'm going to play is the Gallant Defense, and this will end my second action. I'm going to block this die that would hurt our honor. This other die I can just leave there because it won't deal any damage, but it will stay in our pool of dice. And that means I still have the flow state in my hand, worth it. We'll now move to Lady Aldwin. First thing she's going to use is her remedy here, and we are going to destroy this wound. This hand crush is going to be gone. Now this will go to the bottom of the wound stack. That's important because that wound stack is a finite resource. So every time you get rid of one, you're putting it back in there so you don't have an issue where if you run out, you start losing honor. This item is a one-time use, so I will get rid of it. The Steady Analysis card is just too much fun when you can draw 2 additional cards. My deck is empty, so I'm shuffling my discard pile. We are going to draw the Guiding Prayer and Lady Aldwin herself. Awesome. I do think then we will slide that guiding prayer underneath so we have an extra action this round. Oh, and I cannot forget I have this exalted tome, so that means I gain 1 inspiration die. I think we're going to do the same thing and roll an inspiration die. Let's see what we get. Oh, we get a shield. You know what? That's okay. We'll use that shield, and that will block the 1 die that we have in the danger area. I like that. Let's roll another die in, and that's 1 inspiration. Should I do another? I want to do another. Let's roll up a third one, a 2nd inspiration. Based on what we rolled, I think I'm just going to play these 2 cards. The Honorable Deed pushes our monarchy up by 1, and we're dealing 4 damage. Then we'll gain 1 insight die back into our, or I should say inspiration die, back into our pool, and we can move up 1 on our temple. I have 3 shields, but I actually have blocked the only die that I have, so there's no reason to use that. I could use rerolls, but I can't get rid of a miss. You might want to reroll till you get a miss if you're shielding one, because you can get rid of up to 2 around that way. But I can't do that this round. So I guess, you know what, if nothing else, why don't I play this one? Because I'm thinking of discarding it anyways, and that will increase our temple by 1 more. That's a good idea. So I will have 2 temple, 1 monarchy, and another 4 damage. Let's resolve all of our damage, and the danger dice we don't actually have to do anything with. We've taken care of all of them. All 3 of the danger dice will go back into the danger pool. We dealt 10 damage together. That means this guy's down to, 4 health. That is awesome. We're doing quite well right now. That will not last, I promise you. Next, we can move up the temple and the monarchy. Temple, we have 3, and monarchy, we have 2. 3 on the temple is just enough to get another advanced action card, and 2 for the monarchy, we can actually move up to here, and that means we can remove 1 of these dice from our pool. So now we only have 2 danger dice right now. Let's grab another advanced action card for each of our players. We have Resolute Glory, Indomitable Gallantry, and Indomitable Integrity. Oh, the shield and the inspiration would be nice here, but this is dealing 2 damage. This just seems like Rowan. So I definitely think I'm going to give this one to Rowan. And yeah, the card draw, although you have to do 2 of those Fortitude cards. But I think I'm going to grab this one for Lady Aldwin. We then need to discard and draw. I think Lady Aldwin is actually going to hold on to her 2 cards, but Rowan is certainly going to discard, especially because that means he gets to shuffle. So he's going to shuffle all these cards and draw 5. We've drawn up our 5 cards each. Lady Aldwin does have a wound in her hand. Rowan has a lot of inspiration. Look at that. 3 inspiration with those 2 cards. All we need to do is deal 4 damage to this roadside ambush. Come on, we can do it. Okay, we're going to move up on this track. When we do that, we have to move up on here. And that means we have to add 2 more of these danger dice. That's okay. I've got all those shields for a reason. We have to do the green, which is 1 player has to discard 2 cards. It's going to be Lady Aldwin because she has a wound. Might as well discard it. Her muscle tear. She'll put that in her discard pile. What's her other card she wants to lose? I hate to say it, but this triumphant stance, it's good, but we're just going to discard it. We then need to distribute the dice. Let's do 2 for Lady Aldwin and 2 for Rowan. 2 for each. We'll start with Lady Aldwin. She has 1 miss and 1 wound. Okay, we can handle that. And then we have for Rowan, he wants misses. There's a miss because that's 2 damage. That's because of his equipment. I think we all know what shared equipment we're going to use. Oh yeah, it's our Exalted Tome, so we can each gain 1 insight or inspiration die. I'm going to grab that now so I don't forget. That means we each have 2. I'm not going to use any ally abilities because I only have 3 cards for Lady Aldwin, and Rowan only has 1, and he'd have to discard his damage card to just give 1 card to Lady Aldwin. I don't think that's worth it. Instead, we'll just move right to that action phase. Lady Aldwin is going to have the most boring turn ever. She's going to play her card. That's going to be 2 shields. She's going to block both of these. That means we'll be able to remove this die from our pool. Heck yeah. We're then going to slide this one down so we get an extra action so that we can deal 2 damage. 2 damage plus the 2 from Rowan will mean the enemy will be defeated at the end of this round. Love it, but I'm not adding any temple or monarchy. On the flip side, for Rowan, he's going to do a ton of things. He is going to generate 1, 2, 3 total inspiration. That means he has all 5 of his dice ready. We might even roll 1 or 2 potentially this round. He is going to gain 1 temple here, and he's going to gain 1 monarchy. So 1 and 1, and then he gets 2 card draws, which is good because he only has 1 card in his hand, and that will end that action line. We'll see if we want to do anything else. Oh, he's got his honorable deed, but we don't want to deal extra damage. Oh, we could play this card for another temple. In order to do that, though, I need another fortitude, or I could use wisdom. You know what? He doesn't have a lot of either of those. Do I feel like it's worth an inspiration? I kind of do. I kind of think it's worth it. Because right now we're only moving up 1 and 1 on both. I don't think we can even get anything. Let's look at those tracks quick. Those numbers are so small on screen, sorry, but the cost is 2, and I believe it's a 4 over here to get a new equipment. So yeah, we can't do that. And this one is a 2 or a 1. You know, I'm actually thinking of saving the insight. Yeah, I think I'm going to, or I keep calling it insight. It's inspiration. I think I'm just going to hold on to it. I have enough damage to take out the boss. I am going to do one thing though. I don't particularly want to gain a wound. Why don't we use our Vial of the Guard here and block both of these? That will mean this one will be removed from the pool. I've kind of mentioned this, but I just want to mention it here. You can at most discard up to 2 of the danger dice that have the miss symbol in this section. So let's say I end up rolling 5 of them and I block all 5. I can only remove 2 from my board, but that's 2 from each board. So I'm going to be able to remove 2 dice now because I used the Vial of Guard. This will mean we can resolve our danger dice and we only have 2 remaining in our pool for now. We'll then deal our damage. This guy goes down to 0 health and we've completed our first boss and we actually have gained honor. This is going well right now. I can then spend the 1 temple or 1 monarchy. I'm not going to spend either, so I lose them for the next round, but I think that's worth it. We're going to reset this track back to here. We're going to remove this enemy, but because we reset that track, the threat meter does move up. This means we're going to add 3 gray danger dice for the next round. These will be one-time uses. We will not see them next round. That means blocking these misses aren't super helpful, but maybe we want to do that because we've got shields or something like that. Who knows? Rowan has these 3 cards in his hand. Lady Alduin has nothing. He's going to discard the flow state. We're going to keep these 2. We're each going to draw back up to 5. That will end the cleanup phase, and then we'll go back to the story. We've each drawn back up to 5 cards. Let's now read more about what's happening in our story. As Sir Rowan removes the head of his 3rd foe, the remaining thieves drop their weapons and surrender. The company of knights round up the bandits as the lone survivor knight of the once well-fortified caravan approaches. Lady Cillian, speaking to the knights, "What in God's blood do you think you're doing? I had this under control." This states, choose a player to add the hero card 1.2 to their discard pile, and we have Lady Gillian. This is cool. I have to decide who to put it's got to be Rowan because it's Valor, and he's got lots of Valor in his deck. Yeah, so we'll place her in his discard pile. The tall woman spits on the ground at the feet of the remaining thieves. "Identify yourself, knight." "Identify yourself, m'lady. I's on this road long before you showed up and ruined a perfectly glorious rough and tumble." "I'm Lady Alduin of Nolanshire. We are headed towards Blackstone's keeps on order of Duke himself. You will state your titles and purpose." "Think yourself fancy, eh? Titles, then." Cillian stands at attention in mocking fashion. "Lady Cillian, daughter of Sir Wenchley Cillian the Fourth, first banner of Knaves Hollow, and as far as my purpose, you don't think you're the only one with those, did ya?" She gestures at a parchment sticking out of Leslie's satchel. "At least I'm bringing something of use to Blackstone." Cillian climbs to the top of the overturned carriage and heaves open the broken door. Out she pulls a gagged and bound prisoner, wearing the face paint of a Zodi warrior. As she kicks the prisoner to the ground, Sir Rowan's face burns red as he reaches for his sword. Lady Alduin raises her fist, signaling him to stop. We have here, choose a player to add a hero card 1.3 to their discard pile. This player should also take the modifier 1.4 and place it in front of them. This is Prisoner Varric. Okay, Prisoner Varric, he's going to give you a free continued action. He gives you an inspiration. He will deal 4 damage, but it gives you a cost of 1 gray die. When you tuck something, you have to tuck inspiration. Interesting. So it says Varric's tuck bonus deals 4 damage, but also adds 1 gray danger die to be rolled by that player immediately. Oh, it is immediately. Okay. And then this is the modifier. So how does this work? Modifier cards alter the effects of specific heroes or equipment. Varric's modifier requires that player to roll an additional grade danger die each time you activate his Tuck bonus. Oh, so instead of it dealing 4 with a 1, because we're playing the story mode, I'm going to have this out and it'll actually be a 4 with 2 gray dice. That's how I'm reading that every time we activate it. We can activate it multiple times. We can deal tons of damage, but then take damage ourselves. Interesting. I do think I'm going to put this in Lady Alduin's deck because Rowan would probably not be so happy. Now, before we carry on, we must take what honor demands from these God's blood idiots here. We have to choose either to forcibly remove the hands of the thieves or leave their limbs intact. If I was playing with Barrett, it would definitely be that D, but I think I'm going to be nice and do E. We have here all players gain 1 inspiration. Well, that was a bit of a waste for Rowan. He already has 5. Lady Alduin only has 2, so now she'll have 3. Unable to escort the remaining thieves to the nearest town, the company chains them to the capsized carriage and continues on down the highway. After a half-day's ride, they come upon Bodwin, a bustling village tucked into a large valley. Townsfolk move about repairing damage from what appears to be a recent skirmish. Upon questioning, a small child directs you to the local temple, which houses the magistrate of the town. God's blessings to you, sir. We are on a mission of the Duke's order himself, and we require lodging this evening. God's blessings are hard to come by here, but lodging we have. My apprentice will show you each a bed, after you've fulfilled your honor-bound duty, of course. Honor-bound? To what? What happened here, sir? Of late we've been plagued. Bandits, you see. It feels as if each night they wrought a new hell upon our town. Our knights have long grown old, too old to put up a fight. But with your presence we have seemingly found the gods' favor. Your beds will await you upon your return. We believe the bandits have made camp in the woods to the east. Fight bandits? Again? It's nearly nightfall. We've been riding all day. Besides, we must bring this prisoner to Duke. Leslie, silence. Does honor no longer compel the order's knights? Have they changed the vows? It has been some time since I've witnessed a squire take their rights. Honor bound to help all in need, low or high, rich or poor. Were these not the words you've committed to steel and stone? Indeed they were, and our hearts are with you and your village, but our orders from the Duke supersedes this honor quest, my liege. I'm afraid our hands are tied. We leave at dawn. The magistrate gestures to a nearby hand servant who hands him a piece of parchment. Ah, yes, I've read the summons. Particularly interesting is the directive of bringing all known leads of the Zotti's plans and whereabouts, which is perfect. My villagers swear by the moon and the stars that these bandits were... What was it? Yes, Zoti's sympathizers. Yes. A villager, you say? Might we speak to him? No, there isn't time. You must get on with it. Come on, what are you doing asking questions? Or perhaps I might send word to the Duke that you didn't pursue each and every action to uncover the Zoti's plots and schemes. The company shares a weary, knowing look. Lady Alduin nods to the magistrate. Splendid! I anxiously await your return. My squires will prepare your lodging. Our prisoner, then? Is there a cage somewhere we can lock him? Oh, no, I'm afraid not. The town jail was sadly damaged in the raids. Besides, it's a bad omen, you know, a Zoti stay here. Gods, at what point we'd practically deserve whatever fate these bandits have in mind for us. You'll need to bring that, filth with you. The weary company sets out down the road headed east, deep into the forest. As they approach a clearing, a fire flickers in the center. Tents and makeshift dwellings dot the clearing. The bandits have been found and the company prepares for their assault. We have to draw and resolve an enemy encounter. So this will be our second one. Normally, after you complete your first encounter and your second encounter, you would draw trait cards that give you a benefit and a detriment. But the book doesn't say to do so, so we're not going to do that. Not sure if that's right. That is kind of a fun part of the game, so hopefully they'll do it for the next one. If they don't, we might just do it anyways for fun. But let's see our second encounter. We have here the bandit hideout. 30 total health, 20, 30, and then 50. I've already moved up our threat track. we need to trigger the green ability here, which is every player. So this is where some of the iconography is a little confusing. That symbol means every player, but if you use it as an ally bonus, it's every other player, not yourself, but it's still the same symbol. I'm hoping they might change that. But we'll have every player gain 1 wound. So Lady Aldwin will gain a skin abrasion, and Sir Rowan will gain an ankle shatter. I don't know what they were doing. I'm sure they got hurt when they first ran in there. We then need to distribute the dice. I'm going to do 3 for Sir Rowan, and I'm going to do 2 black ones, and I'm going to do the 2 gray ones for Lady Aldwin. We'll roll up the 3 dice for Rowan. Darn, none of those are the misses, which give us auto hits. We'll then roll the 2 for Lady Aldwin. Oh, that's 2 honor damage, and that's 1 honor damage. We have lots of honor damage coming in this time. Rowan will be our starting player. He is going to activate his Halberd, which probably isn't going to do anything unless we get some rerolls, because we didn't roll any misses. Lady Aldwin is going to use her Honorable Persistence. I do love the 3 damage, but the 2 shields is just too hard to pass up on. So I'm going to give 2 shields to Rowan, but that will mean I only have 4 cards in my hand. Without a doubt, I think we are going to block the 2 black dice. Okay, now we can move into the action phase. This would still cause us to lose 1 honor at the end of this round if we don't deal with it, but then this will go back to the pool where we don't have to deal with it again. So Rowan has a bit of a loaded hand here, so he is going to use some inspiration dice. We're going to roll this first one. That's 1 inspiration. This one is another inspiration. I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do 3. Ooh, that's an extra card draw and an extra action. So we're going to draw this one. Ooh, that's just some more damage if we want. We're going to move up a ton on the monarchy track this time. 3 right here. So 1, 2, 3 up, starting with our honorable deed and then Sir Rowan himself. I am then going to use the double inspiration here for 4 straight damage. Yeah, who can say no to that? Then I have 2 of these. Is that worth it? No, you know. Well, so both of these cards, if I played them individually, are their own actions. I can instead, what I'm thinking of doing is I'll end this one here because that'll give us another monarchy. So that'll move us up to 4 monarchy in total and another damage. That's 5 damage. 4 plus 1 is 5. Then I'm going to slide this under here for 1. Oh, I need to roll another die, don't I? I'm going to roll another inspiration die. This is why the inspiration dice are so much fun. That's a double. You know what that means? I think I'm going to roll the last one too. Let's see what I get with this last one. Oh my gosh, we get another card draw and another play. Okay, we'll draw this one. Oh my gosh, that's more. This is going to be an amazing turn for Rowan. Instead of slotting another card under Sir Rowan, I'm going to use the 2 inspiration here to get the 3 bonus. Now I could put both of these under there because this is a hero, Sir Rowan. We could deal another 3, but heck, I could deal 4 with each of these individually, and I have 2 more actions with these 2 dice. So right now I'm generating 1, 2, 3, 4 total monarchy, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total damage. Then I'm going to just do the Exalted Bash for 2 more. That's 10 damage. And then I'm going to deal 2 more with the Indomitable Gallantry. That puts us to 12 damage and 2 more monarchy. That's 6 monarchy. 6. Now I have these 2 cards. Each of these took an extra action, right? Because each of these ended an action line. I get my 1 general, which is the one I did before, and then those 2. I'm going to have to hold on to these. I can't slot them anywhere, but I generated 12 damage and 6 monarchy. I would say that's not bad. I am going to cause us to lose 1 honor because I did not take care of this 1 gray die. I think we'll be okay with that though. For Lady Aldwin, first thing, she'll get 1 free inspiration thanks to her Exalted Tome. We have 4 inspiration dice. Why don't we use one that's a single inspiration? Let's roll another one. We're going to use at least 2. That's a shield. I actually really like that. That's going to block one of these gray dice. We'll use 1 more then, and that one is a single inspiration. We apparently really wanted to go home today because the amount of damage we're going to do here is going to be insane. We're going to start with this Fearless Charge. It's going to generate 2 damage and 1 temple. Then we're going to slide this Honorable Deed card. No, not this one. This Noble Assault. We're going to slide this underneath here to boost it, and that's going to deal 3 more damage. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 total damage. We can boost that in to our honorable deed. That will give us another monarchy. That means we're going to have, what, 7 monarchy? We can then use these 2 dice here as 2 wilds to deal, 4 more damage. That's going to be 9 damage right there. And then we'll end with just our defense. And that's going to block the other gray die. Just so you can see, that means no danger dice to resolve here for Lady Aldwin, and these go back to the supply. These 2 dice have also been blocked, but they'll stay in the dice pool, and this one will cause our honor to go down by 1, and we'll go back to the supply. That's our first honor hit in this game. We're down to 8. That is not terrible at all. Now we're going to deal damage. 9 plus 12. Oh, that's only 21. So that means they're down to 9 health. But we were not messing around this time. We then can resolve our 1 temple. We can't. We can't move up on the temple, but we can move up 7 on the monarchy. Unfortunately, I think the best we can do is gaining a consumable for 2 and then moving up here for 4 to gain an advanced action. That's 6. We have to forego our last one. With our 3 consumables, I think I'm going to go for Sir Rowan, grabbing the Pledge of Clash. And then let's do the Vial of Renewal here for Lady Aldwin for more card draw. With our 3 action cards, Rowan, anybody? 2 more Valor, why not? And it's going to move us up on the Monarchy track, which will be great. I also love the idea of Wisdom for Lady Aldwin because she's probably the smartest, although the shields are good. But I love having the boost, and this gives me 2 Inspiration dice, so we're going to grab this one. During the cleanup step, only Rowan has 2 cards in hand. I think he's going to keep both because he could generate 2 shields. Lady Aldwin will need to draw all 5. We've each drawn up our 5 cards. Sir Rowan once again has his hero in his hand, but amazingly enough, he doesn't have a ton of valor. So we might want to hold on to that till next round because I'd love to spam 3 damage. Wow, we only need 9 damage and we've already defeated the second boss. Before we get to do any of that fun stuff, though, we have to move this up by 1, which will cause this to move up, and that means a +1 to the black dice. So far, we've been handling that. We have here, we cannot use Inspiration this round. We can still generate it, but we cannot actually use it. It's not actually as terrible as I thought it would be. We'll then need to distribute these 3 dice. Let's do 2 to Rowan and 1 to Lady Aldwin. Rowan will roll up. Oh, we have something that's going to deal 2 damage. I like seeing that. And then Lady Aldwin will roll hers. Okay, that's a single honor loss. The first player will then move back over to Lady Rowan, and she, of course, will use her Exalted Tome. Just so I don't forget, we'll each generate 1 of these dice. Just remember, we can't use them this turn. Lady Aldwin has 2, and Rowan, of course, only has 1 because I used all of them last time. Rowan can use one of his ally cards. He's going to discard this one. It's just so good because you get 2 card draws for discarding 1 card. So Lady Aldwin will draw 2. Oh, she gets her Steady Analysis. That's a good one. And if I can pick up the other, it is the Flow State. So both of those will go into her hand, and he'll discard this one. Lady Aldwin will start off the action phase playing her Steady Analysis. She can draw her last 2 cards of her deck. Oh, that's her Lady Aldwin card. And we have a wound. Okay, that's good to know. We then are going to slot one of our cards with Wisdom so we get an extra action this round. I definitely think we can choose this prayer one. We'll slide it underneath, and now we have an extra action. We'll then play our Resolute Glory, gaining ourselves 1 temple, as well as 2 damage already. So that's 2 damage from us, 2 from Sir Rowan so far. How much do we need again? Oh yeah, we just need 9. Then we'll play that Muscle Tear, certainly putting a card underneath it, a Wisdom card, so we can get rid of that. I always enjoy drawing extra cards, so I'm going to place both of these cards face down underneath Resolute Glory. So that's 2 more of the Fortitude, so I can draw 2 cards. I'll shuffle up my deck and draw 2 more. We drew up our Gallant Defense and Honorable Persistence. With that draw, we're definitely going to play that Honorable Persistence, generating 3 more damage. That means we're going up to 5 damage. 5 plus 2 is 7 from Rowan. We just need 2 more, and we can take out the level 2 boss in 2 rounds. I've never done that. And you know what? Actually, we can do it right here. Our last card for this round will be a bash, which is 2 more. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 damage on our own. That means we'll leave these 2 in our hand. Because of Lady Alwyn's prowess, we're just going to play these 3 cards for Sir Rowan. That will move us up on the Monarchy track by 2, the Temple track by 1, and we're going to shield one of our 2 dice. Now I could choose this one so I don't lose the honor, but I kind of prefer to get rid of dice. So I'm actually going to shield this one. I'll lose the honor. My honor is pretty high right now. I know I probably will regret this later, but I'm just going to do this for now. I'm going to keep my Exalted Bash in my hand. And this will mean we just have to resolve these 2 danger dice. This one will go back into the supply. Resolving the 2 danger dice means we'll go from 8 down to 6 total honor, but then we will deal the 9 damage, 7 from Lady Alwyn, 2 from Rowan. That means our second boss is done. After that, we can move up the Temple track by 2 and the Monarchy track by 2. I'm not sure if that's worth anything. The Monarchy track, that's worth nothing, but we can actually move up by 2 on the Temple track, and that will give us each another inspiration die. I'll do that, so I'll have 3 for Lady Alwyn and 2 for Rowan. We'll then discard any cards in our hand, but I'm actually going to keep all the cards in our hand that we have here, and then we'll draw back up to 5. We have our 2 hands set. Let's go back to doing a little bit more reading, shall we? As the last of the bandits have been slain, the company cleans the blood from their swords. All of a sudden, a bandit grabs Leslie's leg. They are coming. The giants. The Zati? Did you see them? Where? We saw them. The beasts. And then fire. Everything was fire. Nothing was left. My children. Where? Where are the giants? Steel's birth. It's gone. It's all gone. They are coming. With that, the man breathes his last. The company searches for any sign of affiliation within the Azati, but none can be found. With their honor quest fulfilled, the group begins the trek back to Bodwin. Leslie rides up along Rowan. What did he mean, it's gone? What's Steelsburth? It's a town far east from here. I'm surprised they ventured so far. Their kin had a falling out with the Duke long ago. Their people are no longer welcome in these parts. What do you think happened? The angels. The angels are among us. Quiet, you purple muck feeder. Can't get this one to shut up about the angels. Been hearing about them non-stop for 2 days now. Angels? What angels? Wait, I've read about these in Friar Wheatley's library. Something about the Zati's ancient prophecies of being visited by angels of their lord? Enough. I told you, Wheatley is nothing but a crazy old man, and I don't need any Zati religious nonsense infecting this company. The company rides the rest of the way in silence. Ooh. Upon returning to the village, the magistrate made good on his word, a bed for each member of the company. As the company heads to their quarters for the night, they are approached by a group of local villagers. Word has gotten round of their deeds, and the group offers to buy you a drink at the tavern. We can either drink with the locals or turn in early. Why would you not drink with the locals? That sounds amazing. The villagers show you a good time with cold brown ale and plenty of town gossip. The company gains some supplies for the road, but a lingering hangover surely awaits in the morning. We all get 1 random consumable, so we'll just grab 1, but we have to add 2 gray dice to the pool. Lady Alwyn gets 1 of each of the different affiliations, and then Rowan has a way to destroy a card. At the Bodwin's Inn, the company is awoken by a loud crash. The inn being engulfed in flames, the crew bursts out of the door to see the entire village up in flames. In the distance, a giant dark figure looms, backlit by the flames. It slowly walks through the fire towards the company. The prisoner who has been tied to a post outside speaks up. The angel has come for me. I have what is necessary. His armband, once dim, now glows a faint purple. Angel? That's no angel. What demon have you summoned upon us? So we can either release Varric to help in the battle to come, or take the armband for yourself. Oh, interesting. I'm all about giving people a second chance, so let's release Varric and see what happens. The player who has the prisoner Varric in their deck should discard the modifier card 1.4. Oh, so that means we don't have this anymore. That's nice. Varric's tuck bonus now behaves as it's written on the card. The company draws their weapons, preparing for their mysterious foe. We have to now draw and resolve enemy encounter 1.8. After defeating this enemy, skip the final cleanup phase. We have discovered, oh, the Midnight Demon at 50 minus 8. So from how I understand that means we're at 42 health. So he's actually a little bit easier, which is nice. Now we need to remember we should have placed this down here. That would increase the threat by 1, but fortunately for us, no additional dice are added to the pool for that. We have the 2 black and the 2 gray because we were caught drinking last night. Oops. Having a little bit of a good time. Come on. Then what we do, we need to trigger the enemy symbol here, which means we need to add 2 more gray dice to the pool. So we have 4 gray dice and 2 black dice. We know what our goal is, and that is to defeat this Midnight Demon. So we will now move to the distribute and roll step. I'm going to have Lady Aldwin, who has some shields, roll these 3, and we'll have Sir Rowan roll these 3. We'll start with Lady Aldwin. She'll roll hers up. 2 are misses, and 1 is hitting our honor. Now, I'm thinking I have done this wrong. I'll try and make a note, but it's, a prototype playthrough, so it is what it is. But this is not yet active for her, not until we get to the next planning phase, and then during that planning phase of the following round, I think she can use this ability, as well as during the action phase if she gets any rerolls. So she doesn't get any benefits for those misses. However, this black one, if we can shield it, we'll be able to remove it from the pool, which would be quite nice. So I'll place these in her danger area. And then for Sir Rowan, though, he will still get that benefit. And of course, he rolls not 1, not 2, but 3 wounds. We move the first player token over to the Halberd for Sir Rowan. Lady Aldwin now has that ability if she can reroll this 1 die. The other ones she's not going to reroll. She doesn't want to reroll those. I don't think we want to use any allied bonuses, so we'll jump right into that action phase. We'll start with Sir Rowan because he is that first player. He is going to start with Lady Gillian. That will give her or him 1 temple because of her and a card draw. So grab that top card of his deck. Oh yeah, that looks awesome. Let's think about this now. That changes what I was planning on doing. I do love how that works in this game. You'll draw a card and it totally changes your plan. I do think no matter what, we want to do the swift advance. I know we're giving up on the 2 symbols here. We could have gained more temple and 2 more card draws, but 2 of these inspiration dice just seems worth it. Next, I do think we're going to play the Indomitable Gallantry. Now that will end this action line. That will give us 2 monarchy. So we have 2 monarchy, 1 temple, and we're dealing 2 damage. I'm then going to use some inspiration dice. That's a double wild awesome. Let's place that double wild here so that we'll track up our temple to 3 instead of 1, and we get 2 more card draws. Yeah, why not? Okay, we have Flow State and Noble Assault. Let's try another inspiration die, and that will be in a single inspiration. We'll use that so we can track another main action. I'm hoping we can pump ourselves up a ton on the monarchy track, so I'll play our Effortless Encounter here, which will increase our monarchy to 3, and then here this increases it to 4, and now we have 2 rerolls. I'm going to reroll some of these gray dice. If I can get those as misses, those will also deal 2 damage. Plus, I'm not too keen on 3 wounds. Okay, 1 of those is a miss, so that's 2 more damage. We're now dealing 4 damage. I then think I'm going to end this track with 2 more damage from our Exalted Bash. So that will mean we're dealing 6 damage now. Then I'll use my Flow State here. This will be some Fortitude for 1 more action line. And we're just going to play this one on its own, which is 1 more damage. So that's 7. And we're going to track up our monarchy to 5. What a turn. I've played all my cards. First thing we can do for Lady Aldwin, she has her Exalted Tome, so she now has 4 inspiration. She'll then gain her 5th inspiration by playing Prisoner Varric. Oh yes, worth it. Because we have all 5 of our dice, we're going to start rolling them for sure. That gives us a card draw and an extra action. So we have our Noble Assault. That's good, but that wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I want some of... shield. Well, a shield will work. We'll use that shield. I don't have any rerolls. Do I have any rerolls at all? I don't. So that's going to be used to block 1 of the danger dice. We'll figure that out later. Let's roll our 3rd one in. Okay, there we go. We want some inspiration. That inspiration can be used for 4 damage with this prisoner, but we do have to immediately roll in 1 gray die. If this ends up being a miss, we actually get to deal 2 damage. No, that is 2 honor hits. We're going to have to shield that one. Speaking of shields, we will play Lady Aldwin. This will end our action line, but don't forget we have this die for an extra action. That will give us 2 shields, and we have 1 from our inspiration die. We can block 3 of these. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that's awesome. That will mean we're taking no damage. This will go away, and this one will go away. We're going to use another inspiration die that gives us double inspiration. I'll use that to start my next action row. We are going to move 1 up on the monarchy track, so that puts us up to 1, and we're going to deal a straight 4 damage. Yeah, that is 8. I have not ever had this much damage. This group is pretty awesome. Now what I could do is I could put this here. Yeah, you know what I think I'm going to. That will track us up another damage, so that's 9, and put our monarchy up to 2. This means I have these 2 cards left in my hand. I'm just going to leave them in my hand, but we are dealing some crazy damage. We'll now move to that resolution phase. Unfortunately for Rowan, he will take a wound and will hit our honor by 1, but all of these 3 go to the supply. And Lady Aldwin can remove both of these, and then this one as well, actually, and this one will go back to the dice pool. That's it. 1 honor hit is still okay. We're down to 5. We're doing fine. Everybody's fine. The wound, he's going to have an arm sever. That's all right. He can deal with that, especially because he needs fortitude to get rid of it. I think he might have just a little bit of fortitude in his deck. What do you think? We then can resolve our 16 damage. That will put this Midnight Demon down to 26 health. And then we can spend our Temple and Monarchy. Our Temple is 3 and our Monarchy is 8. No, 5 plus 2 is 7. A Temple of 3 actually allows us to remove the final danger die. Now that won't last for long, but we have no danger dice in the pool. We also have that 7 total for the Monarchy. Let's see, 5 we can get equipment. Let's see, 3. No, I think we're just going to get a new equipment for each of us. Here we have our 3 we can choose from. Look at this one. We have shielded danger dice. Equals 2 damage. Yeah, Lady Aldwin is totally taking that one. Oh, that's awesome. This one just gives you an extra action per turn, and this one you can spend a double to just deal 5 damage. That seems like Rowan. So Rowan will grab this. This will go to the bottom of the deck. Lady Aldwin is the only one with cards in her hand. She's going to keep both of these. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to be a little risky. We're going to discard the shield. We are doing well. I want to pump damage like nobody's business. So this one can deal 5 damage. So I'm going to keep this one in my hand, and it's going to give us more inspiration dice. So Rowan has nothing in hand, so he'll just draw. We've each drawn up our 5 set of cards. Let's move back to that enemy phase. At the start of the enemy phase, we move this up by 1, which causes our threat track to move up. We add plus 2 of these danger dice. That's not bad. There's only 2 dice in the pool. I'm pretty sure that's where we were. Unfortunately, I must have hit that with my sleeve. I think that's right. We have to deal with the red, which is adding 2 more gray dice. Okay, so there we go. We got 4 dice now. And we have to deal with this one, which says every player gains a wound. So Lady Aldwin will grab the ear rupture, and Sir Rowan will grab the eye gouge. Next round, we'd have to deal with the gray dice as well as every player discarding a card, just so we know. And then, when he gets up to here, it's going to be all 3 of those effects. For our dice allocation, I think I'm going to do the 2 black ones for Sir Rowan and the 2 gray ones for Lady Aldwin. Sir Rowan will roll first, and he gets both our damage. Bummer. I was hoping one of those was going to be a miss. We'll place those out. And then for Lady Aldwin, that other equipment is still active, so if she rolls a miss, it counts as a hit. Beautiful, she deals 2 damage with that. We'll track that on her damage tracker, but we only have to deal with 1 honor loss, potentially. Lady Aldwin will now be the first player, and she has to choose which of these 2 equipment to share. She's going to share the warding shield. The reason for that, we can discard this card as well to give 2 shields to Rowan. He can shield both of these dice with that, and each of those deals 2 damage. So now he is dealing 4 damage right now, and we're already dealing 2 damage. Not bad. We'll start with Lady Aldwin this time. First thing she can do is gain that 1 inspiration die. And since we're getting close to the end of the game, let's use our Vial of Renewal and draw 2 more cards. Oh, we have lots of shields. We got both of these. We'll start off this round with our Patient Vigilance. We'll gain 2 more inspiration dice. I'm going to roll both of these, hoping I can get some wisdom, or I should say inspiration, so I can trigger this for 5 damage. We'll roll our first one, and that's 1 inspiration. Our second one is another inspiration. That will most certainly work to increase our damage dealing from 2 to 7. Then let's do our Fearless Charge. That's going to be 2 more, so that gives us to 9. And then I think I'm going to use this item. Now, this is a one-time use. It generates all 3 of these. I can't spread it out. It has to be on one card because there are some cards that you need one of each of the affiliation type. But I'm going to use that as the Valor there to deal an additional 3 damage. Yeah, look at me. I'm really pumping it in. That's 12 damage for us so far. Next, I do think I'm going to play Lady Aldwin, and I'm going to shield the 2 dice that are out on the table. Both of these dice are going to be shielded, and thanks to our equipment, each die that we shield is 2 more damage. So that's 4 more damage, 14 damage from Lady Aldwin. Actually, no, we were at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage. We then have a pretty much perfect hand because we can slot this here. We add some Fortitude for an extra action, and we'll just play our Skin Abrasion and use our Guiding Prayer upside down so we can get rid of that, and we'll put it back into the wound stack. That was fantastic. Let's move to Sir Rowan. Sir Rowan will play his honorable deed here, generating 1 monarchy. He is going to use his item here for 4 additional damage. That is 8 damage in total so far. We can also draw 2 more cards. And we have for cards, our Arm Sever and our Elevated Insight. Ooh, that one could be nice. We'll then slot our Rousing Invocation card here for an extra action. And we'll be able to play our Elevated Insight. We're going to draw 1 card, and we have our Indomitable Gallantry, and then we have to discard a card, and we increase our monarchy to 2. What do I want to discard? You know what I'm going to discard? Who needs this wound? I'm going to discard the wound. I don't need to hold on to that right now. And you know what? I think I can actually just win the game. If I put the Indomitable Gallantry here, that's 2 more damage. That'll be 10 damage for us, plus the 16 damage from Lady Aldwin. That's 26. We most certainly sent this Midnight Demon packing. Wow, those 2 decks really sung together. As the party lands a few blows amidst the fire, the Zoti prisoner makes his escape. The giant figure retreats back into the fire, chasing the escaping Zoti. Villagers emerge from hiding and begin to deal with the fire spreading through their town. With what energy the company has, they spring to action, dumping buckets of water from the village to quell the raging fire. Amidst the wreckage lies a strange pendant, its form unfamiliar and unsettling. Those who draw near feel a chill they cannot describe, as though the object itself breaches a fear beyond words. We have congratulations, you've completed Chapter 1. Add cards 1.1 through 1.8, except for 1.4 to their appropriate sections in the main box. These cards can now be used in adventure modes as well as all future campaign mode games. For your next game, choose to continue to Chapter 2 or play the adventure mode. Well, there you have it, my friends. That was Honor's End. So much fun stuff to talk about. I love the inspiration dice. I love how these work where they give you those extra bonus actions, either with this so you can play a whole new set of cards and a card draw, or you can use it to boost your cards. The boosting and then the different ways you use cards to get rid of wounds, all of that is great. I feel like every hand is a puzzle. I can't tell you how much I love that the danger dice have a miss, but you still want to shield that miss, because otherwise you might have shields and you roll these misses and you go, well, then these shields are useless. How many games does that happen? All the games. Well, this one, you actually want to use the shields to block these to then remove them from the pool. That's why we did so well. Lady Aldwin, I will say I did an adventure mode, and when you don't have all those shields, we had our honor down to 1 and we're barely surviving. So I do feel like because this is Chapter 1, that was a little bit easier. From what I understand, the chapters will get more challenging, which is good because I had fun there, but we blew it out of the water, right? I want to have it be tighter, and I had tighter experiences with my adventure mode, and I think that's because they gave you some really good heroes to start with. In general, when you play the adventure mode, you'll just grab random heroes so you don't know what you're going to get. Also, you grab random equipment. Having this and being able to every round gain 1 free inspiration die that you can use. Oh, so powerful. But I'm really excited to play this with my kids because the advantage in this game, there is no text, at least hardly any. if that is a turnoff for you, though, at the end of the day, you're just using symbols to do things, right? And you don't have as unique abilities as some deck builders. And although we call this a deck builder, I mean, how many cards did I gain? I gained maybe 3 or 4 throughout that whole game. It's much more about optimizing the cards you have. Your starting cards aren't bad, and you kind of want to use your starting cards to power up things. Yeah, and so I don't feel like it's your normal deck builder where you're going to continue to see an upgrade in your cards. You're more trying to find ways to utilize the cards that you have to make those best choices. Hopefully this playthrough shows you just how cooperative this game is, and if you're interested in picking it up, I have in the description below the link to the Kickstarter. It's going to end in just a couple days, but I'm sure they'll have late backings as well. I want to give a huge shout out to our patrons and subscribers. It's because of you that Barrett and I do what we do on this channel. And if you're excited to see what Barrett and I have coming next, then I need you to meet me at the table. Goodbye, everyone.